Hey everyone, welcome back to lizfenwickdiy. In today's video, we're doing 3 trash to treasure projects. So I found this crate at the thrift store for $1.25. I wasn't a fan of the hearts on the ends, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna pick it up. I may use the wood for something. So when I got it home, the first thing I wanted to do was remove all of the slats from the crate. So I just used my little mini hammer. I got this from one of those little kids workshops at Lowe's, and they gave them to my kids, and they're like perfect size for little projects or like closing paint cans. And so I'm just going to use it to pull off all the slats. Once I get all the slats pulled off, I had some nails on the back that I'm just going to tap down in place. So I decided I wanted to make a sign with this, and I had 2 cutting boards that are from Dollar Tree, and these slats fit perfectly on the 2 cutting boards. So I took the 2 cutting boards and used some E6000 to attach them. Then I flipped the cutting boards on the back and added with some hot glue some popsicle sticks just for some added support to my cutting board. Next, I turned it back over and I used the 2 end pieces of my slats and I just hot glued them on the top and the bottom. Next, I just arranged my slats so I had just a little bit of room in between. I didn't measure anything, I just kind of eyeballed it. And then I went back in and hot glued them in place. I decided I wanted to add a floral stencil to the front of this, but you could add so many different things. I have this floral stencil left over from Cutting Edge Stencils. I'll link it below. And this was a stencil I used in Caroline's bedroom remodel. I don't know if you guys saw that video, but all I'm going to do is pick out one of the flowers I like, position it onto my sign, and then I'm going to use 1 coat of Waverly white chalk paint to fill in the stencil. After that, I decided I wanted to add in a little bit of a touch of pink. So I came in with some pink chalk paint and just put it in some key areas on my stencil. And I think this sign would be perfect in a little girl's room. So for my next project, I found this really cool old arch at an antique store, and it was probably part of a piece of furniture at some point, but I loved how worn it looked, and I just knew that I wanted to get it. But I really went back and forth on whether or not I even wanted to do anything to it. But to me, it just looked a little too dull for my taste. So what I decided to do to just give it a little bit something extra was I decided to add a pop of color. So to do that, I took some Waverly white chalk paint and I really added water to it, mixed it around, and made sure that the paint was really kind of just muted, very liquidy. Then I went in with a rag and I just took a little bit of the paint and water and I slowly wiped it on my piece. And I did that until I got the desired look that I wanted. In some areas, I went a little bit heavier with paint. If I ever felt like it was too much paint, I just kind of wiped it away with my wet rag. I'm really happy with how this piece turned out. I think it really made the lines of it pop, and I think it looks adorable on this dresser. So when I was on that same trip where I picked up the arch, I went to another antique store and I came across these clear bottles, and the tag on them said that they were from 1942 and they wanted 99 cents for all of these bottles. And what really caught my eye about them is they all had some cool texture to them. They either had like fun wording on them, or they had numbers, or just a pattern that I thought if these were painted, it would really stand out and look really cool. So I grabbed some of my paint colors that I thought would be really nice paint colors for the fall. I grabbed some of my blues, my moss by Waverly, a cream and a white and a gray color. These are kind of more of my color scheme in my house, but you could use any color you wanted. I then chose to use makeup sponges as my brushes, just because you can pick these up at Dollar Tree and you can have several in a pack. So I don't feel as bad using, 5 paint brushes whenever I'm doing, 5 different colors. So I did 2 coats of paint on all 5 of my bottles. So once the 2 coats of paint dried on all my bottles, I decided to come back in and wet distress. So I took a wet rag and I just gently brushed over the bottles. You want to be real careful when you do this because the paint is not on there, just amazing. So you just want to go over the areas you want that paint to be pulled off. So on the lettering, the numbers, all of the patterns, I pulled the paint off. So I'm really happy with the way these bottles turned out, and I think they're going to be perfect in my decor this fall. Leave me a comment below in the description and let me know which of these 3 projects was your favorite. Mine, oh gosh, I really like the arch, but those bottles are so neat. So probably I'm gonna go with the bottles this week. And if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any of my DIYs. And if you missed our last DIY, I'm gonna link it right here. So all you have to do is click this video link right here and it'll take you to our last video. And I'll talk to you guys in our next one. Bye.